Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Dr. Nadia West, Associate Professor Gynae. This is the continuation of your online interaction regarding infertility. In our previous interaction, we have gone through the definition of infertility, which is defined as inability of a couple to conceive after 1 year of regular sexual intercourse unprotected. It has two types: primary infertility if the couple has never conceived, secondary infertility if the couple has previously conceived, irrespective of outcome. There's such a litological factor of infertility. It is mainly categorized into male category, female category, and an unexplained group. Now, today we are going to discuss the management. The principles of management include thorough female and male partner history, relevant examination, battery of investigation to specific pathological factor, targeted treatment of underlying pathology. Now, regarding the history, in the female category, you have to inquire about the age, as we already have discussed that increasing age has a significant decline in the fertility rate. The length of time the couple is trying to conceive, parity, if they have previous pregnancy, their outcome, complication during the course of pregnancy or the postpartum period, and history of miscarriages, frequency of unprotected sexual intercourse and associated difficulties like dyspareunia, detailed menstrual cycle history like age of menarche, frequency and regularity of the menstrual cycle, any intermenstrual postcoital bleeding, symptom and signs of ovulation like mid-cycle pain, galactorrhea, hirsutism, symptoms of pelvic inflammatory disease or endometriosis like dyspareunia, dysmenorrhea, dyschezia, history of sexually transmitted diseases, systemic diseases like thyroid dysfunction or diabetes, excessive exercise, weight loss or psychological distress, history of previous pelvic surgeries such as appendicitis, ovarian cyst removal, any drug history like we have discussed. In case of anovulation, there are certain drugs which causes anovulation like intake of antipsychotic drug, antiemetic drug, they cause increased prolactin level and subsequently anovulation. Details of profession for possible exposure to hazards that can reduce fertility like certain chemicals or radiations, lifestyle factors, for example smoking and excessive weight gain. While you are going to inquire about the male history, you have to ask about length of the time spent trying for pregnancy. If the male has fathered any previous pregnancies, history of mumps or measles in childhood, history of testicular trauma, surgery to testes, occupation, medical and surgical histories. On examination, you have to see the BMI, hirsutism, acne, galactorrhea, signs suggestive of thyroid disease, signs of excessive androgen. In pelvic examination, you have to do the speculum examination to look for cervix, any lesion on the cervix, vaginal discharge, followed by a bimanual examination in which you have to see the position of the uterus, its size, its mobility, any pathology in the adnexa, and in the pelvic examination you can well find out any fibroids, any pelvic mass, if there is a retroverted fixed uterus that shows endometriosis or pelvic inflammatory disease. If you are going to inquire for the male examination, then what you have to see is the testicular volume, consistency, mass of the testes, and any varicocele signs. In the investigations for the female category, hormonal profile is very important to see the ovarian factor. As we have discussed in the female factor etiology, the major group which causes infertility are the anovulation group, second was the tubal factor, and the third was the uterine factor, cervical or any pelvic pathologies like endometriosis, etc. Now, while you are going to do the hormonal profile, what you have to do is the luteinizing hormone level assessment, which should be done between day 2 to 5 of the menstrual cycle. And if the level is more than 10 international unit per liter, that shows polycystic ovarian syndromes. FSH level same like more than 10 international unit, it shows poor ovarian reserve and likely need of assisted conception techniques. The progesterone level at day 21 of a 28-day cycle, progesterone greater than 30 nanomole per liter, it indicates ovulation. Testosterone level, normally it lies between 2.5 to 5 nanomole per liter. If it is more than 5, you have to inquire the other causes of raised androgen level. Prolactin level more than 1000 internet microunit per ml suggests hyperprolactinemia. Thyroid function test would be done only if there is a clinical sign and symptoms indicating to go through thyroid function test. Anti-Mullerian hormone level can be checked to see the ovarian reserve. The transvaginal ultrasound is an important tool which can be used to see the uterine factor or the ovarian masses and for the follicle tracking. Tubal factor evaluation. It can be done by various methods. It should be done in the first day of the cycle to avoid disruption to early pregnancy. Hysterosalpingogram, in which the contrast medium injected into the cervix, real-time X-ray to visualize its progress through the uterus and the tubes. Hysterocontrast salpingography, saline is injected to the cervix and visualized with transvaginal ultrasound. It shows polyp and fibroids more clearly. Lap and dye is considered to be the gold standard test for evaluation of the tubal factor. It has an extra benefit of being a therapeutic role apart from the diagnostic role. Methylene blue dye is injected through the cervix into the uterus, and you can see the dye coming out of the fallopian tube through the femoral ends that show the patency of the tube. We can see only the patency of the tube by this test. We cannot find out the function of the tube by lap and dye. Apart from that, what you can do during laparoscopy, you can remove the etienne. If there are polycystic ovary, you can do ovarian drilling. So that is the extra benefit of lap and dye. For male factor investigations, semen analysis, it should fulfill the WHO criteria. The parameters you have to see are the semen volume, semen concentration, total sperm number, per ejaculation, progressive mortality, morphology for normal forms, vitality, and the pH. And normal volume, it ranges from 1.5 per ml. So different parameters which are mentioned in this slide are the one you have to memorize, and these are the parameters which should be fulfilled while you are going to investigate the male factor for a normal semen analysis by WHO criteria. Now, following investigation, you have to do the treatment. Considering the underlying pathology, it can be ovarian factor, tubal factor, uterine factor, pelvic pathology, or unexplained infertility. For ovarian disorder, as we have discussed in our previous online interaction, the anovulation is categorized into major three groups by WHO. The first category was the hypothalamic pituitary failure, in which there is low FSH and LH, and the management would be pulsatile gonadotropin hormone. The second category was hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis disturbance, which covers the polycystic ovarian syndrome group, and the management include clomiphene citrate, letrozole, gonadotropins, tamoxifen. You can choose one of the drugs out of this long category according to the requirement of your patient, and you will follow the size of follicle by transvaginal ultrasound to achieve the optimal size of follicle, which should be at least 20 mm. The third category was ovarian failure group, and egg donation is the only management option available for that group. For hyperprolactinemia, bromocriptine is dopamine agonist, which is the treatment of choice for the hyperprolactinemia carrying an ovulation problematic patients. Tubal factor, the management is tuboplasty. It can be done laparoscopically or by laparotomy. Uterine factor can be treated by hysteroscopy, like you can remove the septum from the uterus. You can remove fibroid polyp. The fibroid size less than 3 cm can be removed hysteroscopically if it is submucosal. For pelvic factor, laparoscopy is a helpful tool for the management of endometriosis. Unexplained infertility, women with unexplained infertility should be offered the ovulation induction, intrauterine insemination, IUI, or in vitro fertilization. Now you have to go through the assisted conception technique a little bit, which include different options. Anything which we give to the patient to assist the fertilization is considered to be a assisted conception technique. Starting with the most minor part of it is the ovulation induction. As we have discussed that we have different option for ovulation induction. It can be the oral ovulatory drugs or by the gonadotropin injectables. Intrauterine insemination IUI involve placing a small volume of prepared motile sperm high in the uterine cavity on the day of ovulation. In vitro fertilization IVF. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection ICSI is the injection of a single sperm into an oocyte. Gamete intrafallopian transfer. Now this is a picture which beautifully shows how we can do intrauterine insemination. It can be done in the normal cycle or by a superovulatory cycle by oral gonadotropin or injectable gonadotropin. At day of ovulation, we inject the prepared semen sample of the husband through a special cannula called IUI cannula through the cervical os into the uterine cavity. This is the picture which shows very nicely in vitro fertilization. In this, there are various steps of the procedure which include ovarian stimulation, then adequate size of ovums are retrieved transvaginally for the oocyte retrieval, and then the egg and the sperm are prepared in a specific petri dish in a special system. It let the egg fertilization followed by embryo culture for 2 to 6 days. Then take the embryo and transfer it into the uterine cavity. About 2 to 3 embryo can be taken, but this is a procedure which has a few side effects like hyperstimulation. It can end it up with a multiple pregnancy, but in vitro fertilization is a procedure which carries the following step which we have discussed. Now this picture, it shows very beautifully the intracytoplasmic sperm injection in which you inject the sperm directly into the oocyte. It is offered in the patient who have severe male factor infertility. Now there are certain complications which are associated with the assisted reproductive technique and the ovulation induction, that includes ovarian hyperstimulation, multiple pregnancy, and ectopic pregnancy. So thank you very much. This is all what we have gone through regarding infertility. You have to go through the online interaction and it will be more comfortable for you in the better understanding when you go through your text for infertility assessment. Thank you very much.